Well, hello, band. Hello. How are you? Hi. Wave to the camera. Say hi, Dad. How are you guys today? Good. I really, really enjoyed your performance. Really, really enjoyed your performance. Congratulations. You're welcome. Very much. Thanks for thanking me for that. My name is Mr. Betherington. I am a high school band director. I teach full-time at Bethel High School down in Spanaway. I got up really early to drive up here and spend the day with you guys. And I'm so glad that I did. I had lots of really good performances today. I got to hear your Symphonic band earlier, and I was really pleased to get to hear you guys. I'm excited to work with you guys a little bit here in this clinic. I teach full-time at Bethel High School, and I also teach part-time at PLU. So Mr. Kim and I were visiting about Interlake alums that might be at PLU, and if any of you guys end up at PLU for college, we might get to work together down there. I'd love to see you down there. I really, really enjoyed hearing you play. There's going to be a test in just a minute. Are you ready? I want you to remember, go like this. Good, okay, good. I want you to hear me say two things before I say anything else. And if you forget anything else that I say, I want you to remember these two things. And there will be a test. There will be two tests, in fact. At the end of our time together, and tomorrow, Mr. Kim assured me, he promised me, like hand on his scores, raised his hand, he promised me that he will give you this test tomorrow. It's a two-question test. It's pass or fail. The first thing is this. It has 3 words in it, and they go like this, way to go. Can you remember that? Way to go. Good. I'll give you something physical to remember. Raise your left hand. Give yourself a pat on the back. These are not. Yeah, left. Left is the one that makes the L.
The other right.
You use that line too. That's good. Give someone near you a pat on the back for me. That's a good thing.
Gentle, gentle.
Eyes back up here. Stay with me. This one's really important, and I need you to listen really carefully. Because so often we go to festival or contests, and we forget something really, really, really important. I'm going to offer a couple of challenges to you musically in just a minute, but I sincerely want you to remember that the first thing that I said to you was way to go. I want you to leave today with a smile on your face, having played really well and feeling really good about how you played. Okay? Now I'm going to give you a couple of challenges, because we can always do better. But A, I want you to feel really good about how you played. B is this. Look at Mr. Kim. Look him in the eye. Stare into his soul. I know it's a scary place there. No, look him in the eye. And sincerely, if you cannot say this sincerely, don't say it. Sincerely, say the words. Look at him, not me. Look at him. Stare into his eyes. Say the words, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Kim, will you close it? Cover your ears for a second. Any 5 volunteers? Oh, just 1, 2, 3. Good. Everybody raise your hand. Do this for me. Before the end of the week, write him a thank you note. Get 2 other people to do the same. Before the end of the week, write him a little thank you note. Because here's what I'm here to tell you. You have an amazing director.
I think he's listening.
And you guys are, yeah. He can listen. You have an amazing director. And I think too often, we work and we forget sometimes to look our teachers in the eye. Now, you just did it because I told you. So before the end of the week, do it again. Write him a thank you. Say thank you. Just thank you. Don't do it on the bus on the way home. He won't believe you. It's because Mr. Weatherton told you to. Tomorrow, before the end of the week, write him a thank you over the weekend. I'm completely sincere in that. You have an amazing teacher, and you need to value him and make sure that you thank him for the work that he does with you. Okay, I got a couple of musical gifts for you. Are you ready? Can we open to Country Wildflowers? Yes. Percussionists, play everything that you can. One of my big compliments to you guys was about how well you played in ballads. I made a couple of real specific comments in my written. It's been a long day. A couple of real specific comments in my written comments about things that can come out more, maybe tuck in a little bit. But think about it, man. Think about what the percussionists do. We pack up everything and they're like, hey, I'm going to bring my instrument along and go play at another school, right? And the stage you probably have never played on before. Have you ever played on this stage before? No. Think about what the percussionists do, though. You're playing on the same instrument you played in class yesterday, right? The percussionists bring some of the little stuff, but they play on somebody else's xylophone and then they come in here and do it on a different instrument. They play on somebody else's bass drum and they come in and do it here. Think if all the rest of us did that. Trombones come on stage, there's like a row of instruments there for you to pick up and play. Honk, honk, honk. Ready, go. Isn't that amazing? I'm serious, what the percussionists do every time that we perform anywhere away from school. It's amazing. You guys played really sensitively. One of my favorite moments of your whole performance was the cutoff of the last note in Country Wildflowers. Yes? Can I hear that note? Last note? Ready? Last note? A. Nice job. And why that was one of my favorite moments is because it's evidence of some amazing learning and teaching. It's evidence that you guys have worked on playing with great symphonic releases. Is that what you call them? What do you call that version of a release? Where the low instruments, don't look at him, you know this, you know all the answers. That release where the low instruments release last, right? And my gesture might look different than his. I do this when I give that gesture to a group. I go like this and I roll my hand. It might look a little bit different than Mr. Kim's, but we all kind of use circle gestures, right? What do you guys call that? Do you have a name for it? A release? Just a good release? I call that a symphonic release. Is what I just kind of, I give it a term for my students, and my adult students and my young students. I give it that term. And it's important, I think, just so that we can think about it that way, because you all know exactly what I'm talking about. Who should stop first in a release? Highest instruments, whoever that is in the chord, right? If it was just brasses playing, we have a variety of parts, it's probably first trumpets first and tuba last. If it's just woodwinds, it's bass clarinet last. It's low reeds, whatever, you know that. Now here's my challenge for you. Can we start pickups to 25? Everybody, pickups to 25. So 1 beat before 25. Here we go, right? Challenge for you, because you guys can do this. This is what mature musicians you are. Take it as the compliment that I'm going to challenge you about some musical nuance, some real detail in musicianship. Every time you breathe, I want you to really be committed to playing with that same release, that same sense of release. It's really close. But the last note is awesome. So I know you can do it. So where do we breathe together as a group? You tell me. You did it very well.
29 on the third beat of 20.
And the fourth measure between beat 2 and beat 3, right? Yeah. 4 measures in, we play nice 4-bar phrases. One of the compliments I wrote down is that you play nice 4-bar phrases. And I don't hear too many people oops, which is to say that you only go 2 measures before you breathe. If I'm just talking to you, I'm going to breathe, or at some point I'm either going to explode or something, right? But I don't just talk and then stop to breathe and then keep talking and then be interrupted by the breath, right? When we speak, breathing comes naturally to us, right? Yeah. So the challenge is to let the breath be part of the musical phrase. So when I get music, 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 music. Does that make sense? Okay? And I'm not making fun of the way you play it. Believe me, I'm not making fun of the way you play it. What I'm saying is, I think you played it better. By really doing this, and then go on. The question is, where you breathe, therefore, after 25, if that was the end of the piece, what would it sound like? Make it sound the same. Here we go, pick up to 25. Make it part of the musical sentence. The breath is part of the music, not an interruption. I think it was. Yeah, it was a little different. Whether it was better or worse, we can debate, but it was a little different. I appreciate the flexibility. Now the challenge is just that. Every single time you breathe. And I picked a spot on purpose that everybody's playing, including as many of the percussionists as I could in this piece. I picked that spot on purpose so that we can try and do it as a group. Now the challenge then is, Every time that you breathe, in any kind of music, it has to be that. That the breath is part of the phrase. Does that make sense? Now, here's the next challenge. For this one, let's start, let's go right back to pickups to 25, same thing. Now, if you don't have the 2 eighth note pickups to 25, will you wait and come in on the downbeat at 25? Does that make sense? Am I being clear? Okay. If you have a half note, just wait and play on beat 1. So here we go. Pickups to 25. Ready? Good. Here I'm going to give you some very specific directions. Start in exactly the same spot, pickups to 25. Play exactly what you just did. I'm not going to start. Neither is Mr. Kim. Here are my instructions. Wait for them. When the ensemble is ready, start. Go ahead. It was beautiful. Was that better or worse? Was it more together or worse together? More together or less together? It was worse. It wasn't as together, right? So how do we solve that? And let me back up to this. Raise your hand. I don't know this. I was going to ask Mr. Kim this when he came in, and I don't know this. I should know this already. Raise your hand if you played at solo ensemble this year, in a chamber group, in a small group. Here's my theory. All music is chamber music. All music is a set of trios. What? You guys are playing in a trio. Right now we're all playing at 25, right? Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not leaving you out. Because you're also, and I'm sorry to point at you, but I don't know your names. This isn't the most kind gesture in the world, but I'm going to use it because I don't know your names. You're also in a trio with her and him. Flute trio, trumpet trio. Oh, and there's a trumpet trio right there. And there's a trumpet, flute trio, a flute, clarinet, saxophone trio, and a xylophone, saxophone, clarinet trio. I'm not leaving you out. Trombone, clarinet trio. Oh, but that trio is also in a, you understand I could do this all day, right? It wouldn't be very fun just pointing at people, but you understand what I'm saying? How do we play in small groups? If Mr. Kim or I aren't going to start you, how do we do that?
You watch the first.
You watch who?
The first.
The first. We watch who has the melody, right? And I saw some of you really do that a second ago. We watch. And what's the other thing you have to do? We have our about it. It starts with a B and rhymes with breathe.
Breathe.
Together, right? You have to breathe together. So you know all the answers. Go. Instruments up. When the ensemble's ready, play. After 25. Were you paying attention? We forgot because you got started and you went like this. Yes! Right? So you did it though. Did you hear it? It was way together. I saw more eyes. I saw more eyes forward and across. Breathe together. Right? Okay, pay attention to the chord 4 after 25. One more time. Same thing. Instruments up. When the ensemble's ready, go ahead. I'm serious, it was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And in the space of, 4 minutes, you went from this. It was really good before. You went from this. And I didn't teach you anything new. Mr. Kim's taught you all of this. I just encouraged you to do it, right? Okay? Does that make sense? You went from this, music, interruption, music, to this. Now we're playing chamber music, right? And here's my theory. All music is small group music. And you just have to figure out who's in your ensemble, who's in your team, who's in your family. Does that make sense? Okay, deal? So, same concept, different spot. Can we go to ride at measure 35? Are they doing the last clinic on stage? I'm supposed to give it a good 10. Either way, this will be perfect. I just want to give it one more thing. 35. 3-5. Box around it. 3-5. We'll let the percussionists get set up.
You can have the water.
Is that yours? I brought one in. This is mine. I'm like, I think I'm supposed to do this. So while the percussionist finished getting set, go ahead and get finished set. Here's my question for you. Is 35 the same kind of music or is it different? Is this section the same kind of music or different? It's different, right? Here's how it's the same. All music is what? So we got a trio right here. We got a trio right there. And we got a trio right here. We got a trio there, etc., etc. Does that make sense? Back to the percussion. Trio right there. Not just there, and there, but there, and there, and there, and there. Which is the next layer of musically sophisticated listening. Not just, who am I playing with? What part do I have? Do I have the melody? Do I have the counter melody? Do I have harmony? Do I have a unique percussion part? Not just is the snare part rhythmically the melody with a flute or a clarinet or a trumpet or a trombone, but who am I playing with in an ensemble? Does that make sense? That's my challenge to you. Okay, so here's 35. Mr. Kim, will you help me with your tempo? What 35 is so I put them at ease. Oh yeah, it's that. 35? Here we go. 2, 1, 2, ready. Percussionists especially, I want to give you guys big compliments about how well you watched on stage. This was the section, and I picked this spot on purpose because it was the only place you got to park just a little bit, right? And I wanted to let you play it again and come right back to it and go, yeah, we got this. But think about it, filter it through in this. Percussionists, you guys did a really nice job of watching. And we got right back together. It only lasted for a few minutes, and we got right back together. Professionals make mistakes. You know that, right? Professional musicians make mistakes. They just don't make the same mistake twice. And if they do, they don't let it fluster them, they get right back into the music. That's the only difference between professionals and the rest of us, right? Is that they just don't let them fluster and then they get right back on. And you guys did that, and I want to give you that compliment. So, does that chamber music thing apply here? Yes. Yeah. It's just rhythmic music instead of being lyrical music. Right? Does that make sense? Okay, let's keep going from there. How's 51? 51. Ready? 2, 1, 2, ready. So that's the two kind of musical things that I really want to encourage you to listen for in all of your music. The next set of music. Do you guys get to, lots of times I ask this at the beginning, do you guys get to do this music again? Have you already performed it? You're
No, we're going to do it at the spring concert.
Great. So there's some musical challenges for me from somebody that's only heard you once. Okay? There's my musical challenges. What was the first one?
Way to go.
I'm coming back to those. So what were the musical concepts? So what was the first one? It started to be in making the breath to get a part of the phrase. And part of the phrase, right? And the second one is about that chamber music playing, right? Okay, deal. Okay, here's the test. What was the first thing that I asked you? Remember, no matter if you forget everything else that I said? What's the second thing?
Thank you, Mr.
Say it like you mean it. Ready to go.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. I believe them. It's okay. Okay. Really, really nice job today, you guys. Thanks for being flexible. Thanks for changing something. Nice job.
Okay, picture.